just never know what's going to happen. In Studio 1, live in Birmingham, Alabama. Special edition Beyond Ringside Tuesday night conversation. Fast Study Layne, your host and moderator for the fiasco of fun, and many other four-letter words that will actually keep me from getting back on terrestrial radio anytime this millennium. So we'll leave it at that. Like to welcome in very good friend of the family. Been a while since we've had a chance to have him on, and glad to have him back. You know him by a man who wears many hats in pro wrestling, especially up in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic areas. And I was going to try to resist the running gag we had coming out of the previous interview. And tonight, it's not a case of Phil or no Phil. It's definitely Phil. Phil Stamper, Nate Stein. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Couldn't resist the Deal or No Deal reference. I just had so much fun with that last time.
Yeah.
Does that one...
Everybody.
Does it really come back to haunt you that much, or have people pretty much let it go now?
Oh, it haunts me. Ridiculously haunts me. To the point I'm even thinking of changing my ring gear to better match up with
it. Make your ring gear a silver make it look like a silver briefcase, right?
There you go.
There you go. Now, we spoke a little bit off air. Now, I know that you've been doing some stuff with AIWF, Allied Independent Wrestling Federations, but your primary home is still at Combat Zone Wrestling, right?
I would say it's a good split between the two, but definitely Combat Zone Wrestling has, better notoriety. And I would say over the last couple of months has had several more events. So, by and large, I would say yes.
Now, I know that, and I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about it, but I know that there was a little bit of a branch off with AIWF. Now, how have they been able to get everything and keep everything going full steam on track? Are they looking to bring in new promotions right now?
They are doing a recruitment phase, and they've been. Since I've been with them, they've sort of always been in the search of more promotion. And I will say, once they had sort of a big shakeup about maybe 9 months ago, things have calmed down since then, and they've been rebuilding their image and rebuilding. Everything from the site to some of their social media contacts and just everything on how they reach out to people to try to give themselves a better appearance and a better representation in professional wrestling.
That's honestly a really cool thing, because I know everything is so tumultuous right now with everything going on the so-called national scene with the E and with T, and of course ROH emerging as a true force, and you've got a group that is trying to come together and bring promoters together to work in a more unified sense and a unified front. And that's why when I hear about AIWF, I'm always happy to hear, when I know that things are going the right direction, when I'm given good news, it's like, this works out for everybody, because it benefits the fans, it benefits the promotions, and I have to say it from my perspective, it benefits the workers and the wrestlers inside the ring, because it gives them more amicable places to ply their trade, right?
Absolutely. And that is the benefit. The benefit is you get not just the press off one promotion running one event, maybe once a month or every other month. You're getting a team of promotions working together to present a unified front, all under one banner. And
like I say, this is something that I've said for many, many years. And when I first started getting in pro wrestling, when I first started training in the mid '80s. And once I had my first match and really had some time to get my feet underneath me and learn more about my craft, the promotion that I was working with was tremendous. I had no qualm whatsoever, but I also felt that itch and that urge. It's like, I hate to bring up an old song, but I ask myself every once in a while if there was life out there, and I come to find out, yes, there is, but I also found out it's like, if you work for him, you ain't working for me. It's like, they're 2 states over. What does it matter?
Exactly.
And it's like, in this day and age, that seems to have gone by the wayside quite a bit. But I'm just, like I say, when I hear that you can actually get a circumstance where promoters are working a little bit more in unison to continually work on presenting a better product to the fans, it is a win-win-win situation all the way across the board.
And we talked a little bit about this just before we went on the air, that I have been coordinating a list of independent dates that are coming up, and I used to do this years ago. The amount of promotions that are running now compared to what was running even 10 years ago is almost to the point of ridiculousness. And when you have so many promotions and so much talent out there that is running every day, you can very easily find yourself getting lost. So
yes.
The fact that you have a grouping of promotions like AIWF that present that front and give promotions an opportunity to put themselves out there is just so much more beneficial for the guys who are working and looking for work. Because now it's like, oh, wait a minute, he has recognition with AIWF Mid-Atlantic. Well, let's bring him in over the High Velocity Wrestling, or let's bring him into AIWF Empire. And, that way that person is getting more around as well as building that brand of AIWF.
Now, also, I'm going to expound on that for a second, not necessarily just the particulars of AIWF, but you put together and I tip my hat to you because I've done something similar to this before for the radio, for our radio product, and I know how much of a pain in the wazoo it can be. You put together a very strong and comprehensive is the word I was looking for, list of independent wrestling promotions that are running shows on any given day. The one that you sent out starts with tomorrow, October 30th, and goes all the way through the weekend. And I just personally, we've had I told you off air that I've had a chance to go down this list a couple of times, especially on our Saturday showcase, because you've got people who are looking for wrestling, mixed martial arts, and sporting events and trying to get out of the house, away from the TV, and do something a little bit less conventional, or do something that they really want to do, and that's taking a good pro wrestling show or MMA show. So I want to say thank you very much for all that you do to try to put this list together. It is appreciated.
Not a problem. Like I said, it was something I used to do, and the way it sort of sparked this time was just looking on my Facebook feed. And granted, most people on my Facebook are other people in the world of wrestling. I was seeing all these events, and then right next to that, I'm seeing people complaining about not knowing about events or not being able to find bookings. Like, well, wait a minute. You live 30 minutes from this place.
Yeah.
Did you not know about this place? So that was part of that reason again. It's so easy to find. Let's make it as easy as possible. And I know I have a strength in communications and marketing and promotions where, honestly, that's where most promotions fail.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because being throwback and understanding the contemporary issue the way that I do, getting back to where I'm going back in time for me, it would make the posters, get them out there in the 7-Eleven windows, put them on the phone pole, and hopefully if somebody else is running close, they won't come along and rip them off, even if they're running a month after your show. And now it's like a lot of people are turning to social media, internet, as well as, and this is something that I shoot directly to the promoters, never forsake the old-fashioned way of doing things with a street team.
Absolutely.
In this day and age, it is so easy to say, I posted on Facebook. What more can I do? Okay, here's the question. When did you post it on Facebook?
Right. And even then, there are so many promotions out there that have a Facebook page, but never talk about it, or never talked it up, or the promoter never puts it on his feed. So people will have a promotion page, and then they have 30 likes. And it's like, dude, that's so not going to help you. You have to make sure that you're plugging that. That's an element of your promotional tool. That should not be the end of your promotional tool.
Right. And the one other thing in particular that nobody seems to really grasp, that unless you create a group, rather than put it on a page, friend page or fan page on Facebook, you need to create an event page. You need to create a group focusing around it, because when you put stuff on your timeline, if you've got 1,000 people and that person, one of your people on your friends list has 1,000 people on theirs, you may post it and it's going to go straight down that timeline to where they're not going to see it in 30 seconds.
Right.
So that's why I tell everybody, it's like when you get ready to go into social media and start advertising on Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, Google+, you've got to find a way to get it out there, and you've got to find a way to make it stick. That's why it's like for us, for me doing the radio product, being able to fall back on something like this and make a reference to whether it be like OVW, RPW, whether it be 1CW coming up on Friday, Combat Zone coming up this coming Saturday night in Voorhees, New Jersey. There's our segue for the day. Sorry about that. I had to do it the cheesy way. Now, of course, one of the things that we've already made a reference to Combat Zone Wrestling. Of course, you've been on here before talking about CZW. Of course, we've had DJ Hyde and a number of the stars of Combat Zone Wrestling, but they've got a great event coming up this Saturday, November the 2nd, in Voorhees, New Jersey, right?
Absolutely. Night of Infamy. It's our last event before Cage of Death, which is the biggest independent wrestling event of the year. Last year we drew something like 1,200 people at the Flyers Gate Zone.
Nice.
It's an amazing showing for Combat Zone Wrestling, and so this is the event that directly leads up into that. So this is looking to be a huge event already. It will be on iPay-per-view at czwippv.com. Of course, you can come live and in person at the Flyers Gate Zone at 601 Laurel Oak Road in Voorhees, New Jersey. That's right. I've committed the address to memory. As much as I write it, I know it by heart because that is our regular venue.
Yeah.
And normally we run every second weekend of the month. This month is a little bit of an off just because of something that the venue had already had planned. So it is this weekend. It is this Saturday, November 2nd at Voorhees, New Jersey.
Now, I know that Combat Zone had entered into an agreement with WSU, Women Superstars Uncensored. Are they going to be featured on this show, or is this going to be or is the WSU event going to be a little bit further down the road?
We're going to see WSU a little further down the road. However, I will say you will probably get the sense of its influence possibly at this event. For those who have not been following along, WSU Women Superstars Uncensored was owned by Denver, Colorado, who is also the promoter for Beyond Wrestling. And very recently, at the last WSU event, Denver came out and made a comment that there were some interested partners and things were going to change. And out comes DJ Hyde. Now, people are probably like, oh, it's all a storyline, oh, it's all a gimmick. It's not. DJ Hyde has actually now become part owner of WSU. So WSU and CZW will be doing some partnerships in the future. You will probably be seeing, you will be seeing some of the women of WSU also making some of the international tours that CZW is a part of.
Nice.
Going to Japan, going to WXW, because that's what our partners around the world have said. You know what? We want more female competitors. So that's going to be something very interesting to see, something I'm looking forward to seeing. A lot of fans are very excited about seeing it, but we're going to do this intelligently. We're not just going to throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. So I believe the next WSU event, don't quote me, right now it is tentatively planned for February.
Okay.
That way it gives us enough time to re-image WSU to a degree. So we're not going to go, press what, it's a whole brand new day and a brand new start. But we want to make sure it has the best front possible. So there will be a new WSU website that's coming out. And we're going to be very strategic in how we put it out. Very
cool. One thing I wanted to ask you about this coming Saturday, in particular for Combat Zone Night of Infamy 12, they're doing a food drive, correct?
Yes, and that's one thing that I found very interesting when I became a part of CCW is how much we're involved in charitable activities. So we are asking fans to bring a non-perishable food item this weekend, and it's all going towards a food drive as part of 93.3 WMMR-FM, the Camp Out for Hunger, with Preston and Steve. It's an annual event that they help coordinate, and so we're asking our fans to take part.
Very nice, very cool. It's part of Camp Out for Hunger, and I'm really I really enjoy, because one of the things that we get picked on about in the world of pro wrestling, it doesn't matter if it's up in the Northeast or down here in the Southeast or way out in the quasi wild West nowadays. I do have to put the quasi disclaimer in front of it, or qualifier on there, is that we don't get involved in the community that much. It's all, it's for what we do. We enjoy what we do. And when we have an opportunity to try to give back to the community when a viable cause presents itself, because we just don't want to jump onto any fly-by-night. We want to make sure that what we're doing is actually going to make a positive impact rather than just trying to get out there and go, hi, we're doing this. And being able to do something for WMMR and the Camp Out for Hunger is really a good way to go with that, right?
Absolutely. And, that's one of the things that has surprised. So I would say it honestly surprised me. There are people who feel so committed to both CZW and what they do in the community that you'll see on the at czwrestling.com, there's also a link to an Alzheimer's walk team that is Team CCW, that is primarily made up of some of the crew and behind the scenes staff at Combat Zone Wrestling, that they're using the CCW name with permission, and now they're raising money that goes directly to Alzheimer's research. Maven Bentley, who's CCW's vice president, runs the Maven Bentley Association, which is an LLC, and their whole benefit when they run events, it all goes directly to that charity. So I believe the last one was split between the Alzheimer's Walks and the Boat Recreation Center. We've done things for all sorts of charities, and actually at Cage of Death. So at Cage of Death, our biggest event of the year, we ask people to bring an unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots. And we get such a tremendous turnout, to the point that, like last year, we had people show up with truck beds full of toys. That is not, like, I'm not, like, over-exaggerating. Like, it was insane. And they do it because they enjoy it so much. And you know what? I'm going to bury somebody really quick. And yes, it's over Toys for Tots, which seems like a contradiction in terms. There are other Philadelphia-based promotions that seem like they're family-friendly, like Chikara was, and they denied and refused and caused so much problems to try to raise money, or just bring in toys for Tots. Oh, that's going to take away from our product, our family-friendly product. And guess what? The hardcore promotion, CZW, is bringing in Toys for Tots and bringing truckloads, literally, of toys. I know Chikara later decided that they would do Toys for Tots, but not after being egged on ridiculously to do it. Hashtag just saying.
Hashtag just saying. Hashtag digging it. Now, I've got to ask about this match coming up this coming Saturday, November the 2nd for CZW. You've got an intergender match set up, and there is an interesting backstory behind this, but I'm going to let everybody know it's an intergender grudge match between Greg Excellent and Cherry Bomb.
Yes. So I will say Greg, who is probably one of the most comedic wrestlers that I have ever seen, and that's, I mean, actually at WrestleCon, he faced Colt Cabana, so think about the ridiculousness that happened there.
Oh, God.
Greg is, how should I put this, portly, rotund,
robust,
too large for words. There you go. He's too large for words.
There you go.
And I will say Pepper Parks, who is definitely a physical athletic specimen, and Cherry Bomb, who is Pepper's partner, have taken exception to Greg's gross anatomy, if you will.
Okay.
And so I would say they've sort of been stalking after Greg for him to get into a better shape and a better condition. And then last month, while Greg was in his match with Busick, out comes Cherry Bomb and attacks Greg with the spike of her high heel shoe and hits him in the temple repeatedly.
Good grief.
So Greg is looking for some comeuppance against little Cherry Bomb.
And that in and of itself just literally scares the hell out of me. The concept of Cherry Bomb coming out and nailing with the spike of a high heel shoe, it's like, no. I can see where Greg would be slightly upset about this. So, yeah, this would definitely be one to keep an eye on, and that looks like this is, I don't know, maybe they should go ahead and bring out the cage a little bit early and have it at Night of Infamy. And let Greg and Cherry go at it inside the cage.
Well, let's see how things develop after this, because we still do have Cage of Death a little over a month away.
Yeah, I know. But I was just looking at the overall scenario. It's like, look, girl gonna drag out a high heel, try to club me with it. Guess what? She's gonna get hit with an inanimate object, kind of like a 757. But
well, and Greg has been known for his intergender matches. I mean, he's wrestled Kimberly. He's wrestled with, in the past. He's wrestled with Fisto. In the past he's wrestled Mia Yim. And that was, I will say, a rather epic battle. So let's see what happens when he faces off against Cherry Bomb. I mean, she is no stranger to violence. She is no stranger to giving it to people as good as she can take it. So let's see what happens.
That is one thing. She can take it as well as dish it out. So that it promises to be a solid matchup this coming Saturday. Give me a little bit of the backstory going on, because a couple of these storylines, a couple of the matches, I really don't know how things got built up into this. So Sozio and Dave Christ.
So this one might be slightly more complicated. So the front, run by Sozio, has been doing special favors for CZW owner DJ Hyde. DJ Hyde, thanks to the now known as NXT Solomon Crow, formerly known as Sami Callihan, left DJ Hyde in a certain kind of way. They were never happy with each other. They really kind of disliked each other. It was sort of a tolerance, like, I work for you, you work for me, you have name recognition, you have name recognition, okay, let's just move forward and work together-ish. And Sammy was the leader of Ohio is for Killers, or OI4K, which the Crips are a part of. And with Sammy gone, in DJ's mind, I think he thought, okay, that removes one of my own personal thorns in my side, but he forgot that there were 3 other members of Ohio is for Killers. And they're not going to let DJ forget that he's sometimes a dumbass. So, I will say they've had some fun antics with Mr. DJ Hyde, our beloved owner of CZW. Things like slamming him in his own birthday cake. And DJ has gone out of his way to try to derail Ohio is for Killers. So, at the last event, while Jake and Dave Chris were actually representing CZW at Big Japan Wrestling in Japan, he made himself the special guest referee with Nevaeh, who is Nevaeh Christ, who is married to Jake Christ. It was Nevaeh versus Shana from Portugal, and DJ made himself the special guest referee. He's previously set himself up in matches against Nevaeh Christ and tapped her out. So he has definitely had an aggression towards Nevaeh that I can't quite explain, and a hatred and dislike of Ohio is for Killers that he is looking to perpetuate at this event. So he is once again calling upon the front, run by Sozio, to help him eliminate Jake and Dave Chris. So it's Sozio versus Jake Chris, and Biff Busick versus Dave Chris.
So those are flip-flopped, okay.
Did I flip-flop that? If I did, I'm an idiot. So it's Dave Chris versus Sozio.
Right.
Biff Busick versus Jake Chris. My apologies.
It's quite okay. And speaking of, let's go into it. Biff Busick versus Jake Christ.
I mean, I think Biff Busick is part of the front. So again, it's DJ calling the front. I'm not sure. Do you remember Batman, like the Michael Keaton Batman, when Joker grabs his chief lieutenant and is like, "You're my number 1 guy"? That's Biff Busick to Sozio.
Okay. I can see where this is going. So that you're trying to take care of the entire situation one step at a time, and it looks like it's coming together quite nicely for Night of Infamy, a match that I really want to ask you about. DJ Hyde taking on AR Fox.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a deep breath here, because this is something that actually just came out today. It has not gone out on press releases yet, but I have permission once I talk to DJ later tonight that it's going to. AR Fox, unfortunately, is going to be unable to compete. I don't have the reasoning why. DJ told me this earlier today. It is very last minute, and we know it. So DJ will still be there, of course. He's the owner of CZW, but AR Fox, unfortunately, will be unable to compete.
Has DJ got alternate plans in play, or is he actually just going to survey the situation, especially with the Christ brothers?
That's the curious thing, because I asked DJ, so what are you going to be doing? Oh, don't worry, I'll be there. Well, I'm like, I know you're going to be there, DJ. You're the owner. Yeah, it would be quite surprising that you wouldn't be there. But so he isn't really open to sharing at this time what he will be doing. But I have a feeling, especially like you said, when it comes to the Chris, that he will be involved in some way, shape, or form.
CZW World Tag Team Championships on the line. Blackout taking on Azrael and Bandito.
That's right. And this is the tag team situation at Combat Zone Wrestling has been very interesting as of late.
Yeah.
So, you've had the Assyrian Portal for the last several months that have been trying to vie for the CZW World Tag Team Championships. You've had the Beaver Boys put on the best matches. I'm going to call it out. They pretty much had the best match of the night for, let's say, 2 of the last 3 events at CZW in whatever match they've been in. You have Four Loko, former tag champions. So all of these teams have been vying for this opportunity to get to the CCW Tag Team Championship. And we're still in October. So a few weeks ago at Cerebral, one man from each team fought off in a 4-way dance. The winner of that match got to choose anything they wanted. Azrael won. So Azrael, as part of Four Loko, decided that he wanted to have a tag team title opportunity, and so it's them versus Blackout this month. But you have to be imagining there are a lot of other teams waiting in the wings to see what happens on this one.
Now, for those who don't know exactly what the Wired Championship is, for those who have not had a chance to really do some checking up, let everybody know what the background of the Wired Championship is.
The Wired Television Championship is, I would say, one of the most exciting championships in the world of professional wrestling today. Now, old school CZW, and for those of you who followed old school CZW, hopefully you will understand when I try to make this comparison. To me, it's like the Iron Man title. It would be like if you were a fan of older TNA, like when TNA was first starting and there was the X title, because now TNA is not going anywhere, except maybe to an auction block. To me, it's a title that has a lot of excitement around it, a lot of energy around it. And A.R. Fox, when he became both the Wired Television Champion and the Cruiserweight Champion, it was decided this title needs to represent one thing, and that's the intensity and the mix of action that you will see at Combat Zone Wrestling.
And this Saturday, it will be defended. The champion, Alex Colon, taking on John Silver.
Absolutely, and for those of you who have not seen John Silver, there's a lack of sanity. That's probably the best way. I don't want to call him insane because I don't want him to come after me. I won't say there's a lack of sanity because I don't think he'll understand the conjunction and the grammar usage. So he's not right in the head. And Alex Colon has wheeled and dealed and done devious things to hold on to that title. I mean, and when I say this, okay, 2 months ago, there was a ladder match to decide who would win the Wired Television Championship. Alex Colon basically took a header off the top of the ladder to the floor, and we all thought he was dead. It was a ploy to play possum, to wait until an opportune moment arose so he could climb to the top of the ladder and take the title. That's how deceitful Alex Colon is, and how reckless he will be to hold on to that championship.
Now, you make a reference to situations being personal. And a lot of the situations you and I have discussed in previous days revolving around CZW, for some reason, and in this day and age, people take things a lot more seriously and a lot more personally. Something that was normally supposed to be humorous or supposed to come across as humorous isn't taken that way. And 2 people who were friends at one point now basically are ready to rip each other's head, or at least one is ready to rip the other's head off. And I'm making a reference to the match revolving around the CZW World Heavyweight Championship, Drew Gulak coming in to defend against Chuck Taylor.
That's right. Chucky T will be in action this weekend at Combat Zone Wrestling. So, I mean, let's face it, it's world of wrestling. People know about things that happen elsewhere in the world of professional wrestling. And Chucky T and Drew Gulak have tagged before together. They're part of a team normally. So Drew Gulak, who defended the CZW World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestling Cares this month, that happened to be on the same date as Cerebral, while he was over in California representing Combat Zone Wrestling, Chucky T stepped in as the leader temporarily of the Gulak campaign for a better combat zone.
Right.
And instead of maybe putting his best foot forward, well,
I'll correction it. Maybe Chucky T put his best foot forward, but he definitely did not have the interest of the campaign at heart. And I think he not only, let's say he not only maybe made suggestions of an inappropriate advancement towards Kimberly, as did his, I don't know how sensitive I should be, because I believe he called it his undersecretary of getting pussy, Orange Cassidy, especially wanted some of that. So that's probably the best way to put it. So Kimberly was not happy. It took Nui Tefego to pull Kimberly out of the ring to get her away from Chucky T because she was hot. And hot, I mean mad. I mean, okay, yeah, she was pissed. So Drew Gulak, of course, not happy with the way Chuck Taylor represented the campaign, and now it'll be these former friends squaring off Drew Gulak versus Chuck Taylor.
And we make a reference to friends and how friendships go sour, and that also comes to the main event for this coming Saturday. In a match that I have not really heard been put into play. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It is an ultra-violent scumbag rules set between Drew Blood and Devin Moore this Saturday at Night of Infamy in Voorhees, New Jersey.
Now, Devin Moore and Drew Blood, former friends, they used to tag team together. They were PWU tag team champions. Actually, I'm not sure if they were CCW tag team champions. They know each other very, very intimately. And a couple years ago, in a retirement match, it was Drew Blood versus Devin Moore. Drew Blood lost and had to leave Combat Zone Wrestling. He came back first as a referee and ended up getting back onto the roster. Surprisingly, when the Nation of Intoxication needed some assistance, Devin Moore, I think, thought he could trust his friend, Drew Blood, and instead Drew Blood turned on him, resenting the fact that Devin Moore is the one that cost him basically 2 years of in-ring time at Combat Zone Wrestling. At the same time, Drew Blood has had his sights set on destroying the entire Nation of Intoxication, which Devin Moore is part of. So it's Devin Moore, Danny Havoc, and Lucky 13.
Right.
And Drew Blood is trying to do everything he can to wipe out the Nation. And to do that, at one point he tried to team with the Naptown Dragons, and they went a different way. So now he is trying to, I don't know, the best way to describe Drew Blood right now is as a cult leader. It's almost like he's giving out glasses of Kool-Aid in the back, and people are just following aimlessly. We have Ron Mathis, and he somehow sucked Ron Mathis under this promise of, oh, you're going to get bigger and better opportunities. You're going to get more and more shots here at Combat Zone Wrestling. Follow me. You have Rory Mondo, who Rory Mondo just, I don't know, like, just not present in his mind at all. I mean, 2 months ago, I saw him double stop Danny Havoc while he was on a stretcher, and then go to the back and come back out with a weed whacker. Like this is old school CZW that has not been seen in a long time.
Yeah,
Rory Mondo is friggin' crazy. And Drew Blood, I have this weird feeling that Drew Blood has shenanigans up his sleeve. And to be honest, he's the one that put together this match as an ultra-violent scumbag match. But I have no idea what the hell that means. And if you try to get that from him, you're not going to get a straight answer. So he was able to call this match, and I don't think Devin Moore knows what he's walking into.
I have a feeling that this will be a don't blink moment for Combat Zone Wrestling. Because knowing the track record as you've explained it, and also what I've been able to find out on my own through actually watching, paying attention, and really enjoying the product, anything can happen, and that's an understatement.
Absolutely.
And the case, what you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, if one of those, I understand there's going to be 4 mystery boxes involved, one of which will have a set of keys. The keys will unlock either Lucky 13 and Danny Havoc, Nation of Intoxication, or Rory and Ron. And, of course, you know that it could end up being a completely lopsided contest with the other team being completely helpless because they're still going to be handcuffed.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to use a play on words, and I really don't want to do this way, but knowing the fact that knowing the tradition and the track record for a lot of the people involved in this situation, it could end up being a bloodbath.
It could be. It's going to be. I don't think there's a question about it.
There was almost a play on name and words in there that I was hoping to kind of sneak by, and unfortunately I didn't quite do that. It's just, I'm looking forward to this one because, and for those who are not in the Northeast, for those who are not close to Voorhees, New Jersey, this will be available on iPay-per-view, dropped by czwippv.com. You can order it from the comfort of your own computer study or living room or bedroom or office or, in my case, radio studio. Now, do you know how much the pay-per-view is I'm going to track out for?
Oh, don't quote me on it, but it is available for pre-order right now at czwippv.com. I think it's $10. Do not quote me on it.
I can answer that question in about 2 seconds. It's what I love about doing this live. I've got RF video now. And Combat Zone. There we go. It's still showing the advertisement for Cerebral over at the site. So I do not know.
Oh, I will get on them tonight. I forgot. I'm a day behind or something. I thought it was Wednesday because normally it's Wednesday when it's put up. So
yeah, this is
czwippv.com. So if you're listening to this Wednesday or later, it will be up available for pre-order.
Not a problem. Yeah, this is being taped on Tuesday night, October the 29th. We're right now at 10:39 Eastern, 9:39 Central Time. For those listening, of course, on replays, Fast Eddie Layne, your host and moderator for Beyond Ringside, being joined by a good friend of the family, Phil Stamper, Nate Stein. A lot of you know him by both names. A lot of you know him by one. And he's not ashamed to put both of them out there. He's not afraid to put both of them out there either, right?
Right. I do have my own best split personality. It's amazing.
Now, let me go ahead and ask the question. As it stands right now, tickets, are they still available in Voorhees, New Jersey?
Yes, there are tickets still available. They're available online at our web store. If you go to czwrestling.com and click on the link for the Pro Shop and click on tickets, you'll be able to purchase online, or you can buy them at the door.
Now, I also understand for companies, businesses that would like to possibly have something to do with the event live there, that vendors are welcome to put an application in, right?
Absolutely, and we've had a very good mix of vendors. I mean, we've had wrestling merch sales, we've had videotape distributors, we've had some food merchandisers. We are looking for an alcohol vendor.
Yay!
And we may, this is a may, we may have an announcement about that coming for Cage of Death. But if there is somebody out there who is very interested in providing that service, we would be very interested in talking with you. We also we're getting ready to do a push for some additional sponsorships. We actually just signed on as an Amazon affiliate. We're not selling anything through Amazon at this point, but if you go to czwrestling.com and scroll to the bottom of the page and use the Amazon banner, you are able to make regular Amazon purchases. There's no additional cost. You will still qualify for the free Super Saver shipping that Amazon provides for sales over $25 for qualifying items. Part of that proceed will come back to CZW. So again, nothing additional. You still get all the Amazon discounts and Super Saver shipping, but we get some of that advertisement revenue. For those of you who are listening on the radio and don't want to bother going to czwrestling.com, even though I don't know why you wouldn't, and scrolling down to the bottom of the page and clicking on the link, you can go to bit.ly/combat zone, and that'll take you to the Amazon front page. It's the same Amazon that you always use. It's just Combat Zone Wrestling gets a little bit of the credit.
Now, also, in this particular regard, I have to ask, and I don't know if you're going to know because this is blindside, what about for Amazon Prime members?
Yes, they are able to make purchases. They, like I said, they just click on that link and they go about their business as if they normally would.
Okay, because I actually have Amazon Prime.
Gotcha.
There you go. Yeah, that's really a cool thing. CZW combining forces with Amazon, which is a great retail source. As it stands, it gives people a great window and venue to be able to make their way a little bit closer to CZW, where, a lot of people don't think about czwrestling.com. Why? I don't know. People, stick it in your web browser and bookmark the damn thing, czwrestling.com. Also for this Saturday, November the 2nd, CZWIPPV, as in ipayperview.com.
See, for me, all things wax and wane. And so as much as people have built up social media at the same time, Facebook has put out there, and other people have put out there, Facebook use is declining under the age of 24. So there is sort of this look for the next thing. Sometimes that next thing means, is it Instagram, and it's more about the pictures? Is it more about Reddit, where it's a simpler line? Is it Twitter? And of course, Twitter is extremely ridiculously popular, and it's opening up its own IPO. So, of course, it's tremendously popular. Facebook is still tremendously popular. But you can't die on one branch. You have to be able to do multiple things. You have to be able to put yourself out in so many ways, as well as the traditional route of marketing. And you have to pay attention to what's out there so you can build it in that way. I mean, we have a great YouTube following.
Yes.
And YouTube is a tremendous social media resource that nobody pays attention to. Like, that nobody realizes, promotion-wise, that, oh, wow, this is a great way that we can put ourselves out there.
Yeah. I mean, and considering it is so inexpensive to either have a smartphone with most of them shoot video, or an HD or standard definition, palm camcorder, there's no reason why it's like, for a lot of us in the industry of professional wrestling, in the business, drink, I'll tell you that one later, to not have videos up on YouTube, not necessarily for our own individual marketing purposes, but also to help put over the product, get the name out.
Right.
Long story. That's one I'll tell you about off air. Now, also, real quick, for those who do manage to make it over to CZWIPPV, I'm not sure if it's going to be up there in the morning, but if you're listening, or I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be up there, but I understand that there is still a great, and I'm looking at it right now, there is a great combo deal up on the site where you can get the previous events, WSU Blood and Thunder and CZW Cerebral, on a 14-day VOD for only $20. Both great shows. I mean, I've had a chance to check out both of them, and believe me, they are definitely worth the money. I mean, when you get an opportunity like that, and then I believe that you've also got the WSU show available by itself for a 14-day VOD rental for $14.99. So you can either go $14.99 for the single for WSU, or get both the WSU and the Combat Zone CZW Cerebral. I'm going to try not to mix up the names like an idiot like I normally would here for only $5 more. That's like, you can't let an opportunity like that go by. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. And having a promotion that will run regular iPay-per-views when they have events is such a tremendous resource. It helps us so much more get our name out there. It helps people see the product that they might normally not have. And I will say, based off a couple of days ago, and I cannot remember the website, and I apologize for that. There was a website that somebody tagged me on and said, you need to check this out because of what they're saying about CZW. And there's been a lot of negative things about CZW. Oh, they're nothing but blood and gore, and they're nothing but this ultra-violent thing. And it's like, what are you talking about? You mean like the one match that had that last month, and the rest were, what you would see on a great wrestling event. And this month we have the ultra-violent scumbag match. And all the others are going to be great, amazing wrestling matchups. And you're talking about the fact that we have one match that'll have ultra-violent. Oh, you're nothing but an ultra-violent hardcore promotion. No. And also, I'm working for promotions down south in North Carolina where they're putting on bull rope matches and hangman's men's matches and cage matches, and hell, I was in a 5-man steel cage ladder match. So you can't tell me that other shows aren't running matches that have some hardcore in it. It just happens that CZW does it best and is known for it that way. And you also can't say that, your entire product is just this one thing, because CZW, you have
to expect the unexpected. It is truly like nothing else. We have the best competitors. I mean, CZW in the last month, we had an event in Germany. We had 4 of our guys go to England and Germany. We had 3 of our guys go to Japan.
Yeah.
We had 2 of our guys out in California at Wrestling Cares representing Combat Zone Wrestling.
Right.
We're partners with Westside Extreme Wrestling in Germany. We're partners with Big Japan Wrestling in Japan. Latin Dragon is about to head out down to Shalinga Mask down in Mexico. Masada was just there this summer as well as Latin Dragon. So we're around the world. We're not any one thing. And I think that is the huge thing about Combat Zone Wrestling is you can't really define us. You can't just say, oh, you're this one thing, because we're not. We're a lot of different things for a lot of different people. There is something there for everyone.
See, and that's something that I've been saying for a while, because I'll tell you a little bit more off air. I work with a company similar to that runs a similar philosophy down here in the southeastern U.S., and I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. And the thing about it is, if you're going to pigeonhole, please do your homework and make sure you're putting us in the right pigeonhole. That's all I can say, because when you've got, now, granted, yeah, Cage of Death is 45 days away. It's right around the corner. But the fact of the matter is, if you go to a Combat Zone show, you are going to see so many different styles of wrestling from so many different styles of wrestler. It's not just going to be, and I'll lay it out the way it was told to me. That a person down here told me about a company that I was working with. It's not just going to be razor blades, light tubes, thumbtacks, and everything else. It's going to be innovation. It's not going to be stagnation. It's going to be making your way toward the future of professional wrestling through every possible style of wrestling, not just resting on your laurels from shows gone by. You want to always find a way, and this is something that Combat Zone does. This is why, one of the reasons why I invited Phil to come on here. CZW doesn't rest on its laurels. CZW continues to move forward to try to give the people who spend their hard-earned money the absolute best. And that's the reason why I can say, for those who live in the Northeast, if you're within 2 hours of this event, of Night of Infamy, definitely make the drive. Get the tickets. Go to czwrestling.com. Find your tickets. Get them while they're available. If you can't make the show, order the iPay-per-view. You will enjoy this show from start to finish, because you've got some tremendous talent on this show.
Mm-hmm. And for people who say, well, CZW can appeal to a mainstream audience. Oh, you mean like the 4 top guys that are being recognized in in WWE Developmental and on the air product, who all have been in CZW. So Dave Bryant's done CZW. John Moxley was who was Dean Ambrose was a mainstay at CZW.
Right.
Sami Zayn, who I don't know, I think he might be some kind of guy from Tijuana who is at NXT. He was at CZW. Solomon Crow, who was Sami Callihan, was at CZW.
Right.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then if you say, oh, well, okay, maybe now you're too mainstream. Well, okay, let me compete back with that one and just talk again about the guys who just did international tours with other top-quality independent wrestling promotions around the world. And that is the caliber of talent that we have.
And let's lay this one out there also. If you want to pigeonhole a company like CZW, remember, it was brought out earlier, and we've discussed it in previous days here on Beyond Ringside and the radio network. CZW Heavyweight Champion was featured at the Wrestling Cares live event in California. And I want to say thank you again to David Jackson and everybody with Wrestling Cares who've been coming on with us in previous days to help let everybody know about their product. And we're going to work with them making our way into 2014 as they get their calendars lined up again for future events. Just like, of course, CZW, you personally, everybody has an open door. And the welcome mat is always out. We believe in the product. We believe in the product. That's why we open the door the way we do. I mean, let's be legit. Once again, 9:50 Central PM. I saw the event and it started clicking in my head. What time was it today when I sent you the message? What are you doing tonight?
What? Right, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Pretty much. It's like I want to get the word out about the CZW show and some other stuff that you're doing. Are you free to come on tonight?
Right.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, and that's just it. Like,
wrestling the way it is right now, especially on being in independent wrestling, it lives and breathes so much with our fans. It has to.
Yeah.
And people who like good wrestling, it has to exist in a way that we need to be our best promoters. We need to put ourselves out there the best.
Amen.
And having a great relationship with people like you and different websites and being out there with everybody can only benefit us.
Now, real quick, I know you've talked about the fact that you've got some really good sponsors for the event. Do you have sponsors that you would like to mention for Night of Infamy?
Not other than our Amazon affiliateship, not at this time.
Okay.
I know we're finalizing some things, and I don't want to speak out of turn because that involves money. So definitely our table vendors who will be there. There'll be representation from Smart Mark Video. There'll be representation from Beyond Wrestling. There'll be representation from RF Video. There are, of course, the CCW Pro Shop will be there itself to have its own merchandise. I'm not sure what other vendors will be there as well. And there are great partners, too.
And there will come a time where a certain radio show will find a way to make its way to the extreme Northeast and catch something live and hopefully try to set something up where we can do a live broadcast from there.
That would be amazing.
I would love it if we could pull this off. Hey, we got 45 days to play with.
Absolutely. You can find a way.
Let me see. December 14th. We're doing this part live here, kids.
Right.
Let's see. I'll do some checking around and see what kind of miracles might be in the making. Now,
let's look what Amazon Travel has. I don't even know if Amazon has a travel section. I'm going to make it up. Amazon has a travel section. Go check it out. bit.ly/Combat Zone, or click on the link at the bottom of the ccwrestling.com page.
We need to set up something with a travel agency. That would be a beautiful thing.
That would be it would be amazing.
Now, I've got to ask, in addition to that, like I said, we made a reference to the calendar that you've got, that you'd been working so hard to put together. Once again, it is extraordinarily appreciated. You cover events. It's like I received it on Tuesday the 29th, the date that this is being taped, and you start immediately with Wednesday, October the 30th, some of the events going on, whether it be Rockstar Pro Wrestling in Dayton, Ohio, of course, the staple of Wednesday nights in the southeastern and mid-Atlantic areas. It's OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, of the Davis Arena in Louisville. And I have to do this in honor of a retired affiliate. No, he's still family, Mr. MCO Chase Pearson. And anytime that we would make a reference to this, the name of the street that Ohio Valley Wrestling is located on, the Davis Arena.
Mm-hmm.
If you know it by heart, I'll let you take it.
Oh, I'm probably going to mess this up. Is it 4400 Shepherdsville Road?
There you go, Chase. Yes, it was.
And actually, I have some great friends who are out there right now. So I'm going to give a cheap plug for Eddie Diamonds and Timmy Danger. You need to check them out. Look them up on YouTube because they're doing fantastic stuff.
Tell you what, if you've got I'll do this on air. Danny Davis, I'd love to have you come on the air sometime with us. Completely friendly environment. And keep your friends who are there in the loop. Love to have them come on. We can start working on interviews.
Absolutely.
Also Thursday. Now you carry the international flair on this one also, because we've actually done some PR. We've actually done some mentioning of Preston City Wrestling before. And let me see if I can actually say this right the first time. Preston City Wrestling is going to be on Church Street, PR1 3BU, Pleasanton, Lancashire. I hope I get that right. Daryl B will tell me if I got it wrong, and probably Mad Dog Matt Denton will tell me. Two of our good friends from over in the UK. 6 p.m. local time. Check out facebook.com/Preston City Wrestling for them. Now, any events that you want to make sure to try to hit on?
Of course, Combat Zone Wrestling is the event you need to check out. But for those of you who might be in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, make sure you're checking out C4W. That is an AIWF affiliate. Make sure you check it out. They're doing such tremendously great things down there. I don't follow the product like beat for beat, so I'm not sure of all the storylines that are going on there, but I know a lot of their guys and just amazing talent down there. There are a lot of hotbeds out there. I know Oh, I can't believe it. I forgot. I know that there's a deathmatch tournament somewhere on Friday in Indiana. I feel bad that I can't remember it because I know 3 of the guys on the collection. I can't remember what promotion it's for. That gets me in my stupid brain, so I apologize for that. I am the dumbest, most intelligent person that you will ever meet. So sometimes my brain will be hyperactive, and other moments I'm like, A before E, except after C. Like, yeah, my brain, it's weird. And because I am just getting out of the car, I don't have my list in front of me either, so I can't even cheat.
Well, let me go ahead and slide this one in while we work on cheat time. I'm going to go a little bit into the future, and for our friends in the southeastern United States who really get into the ultraviolet and the hardcore, those terms are decidedly different, but they can be intermixed. I want to go ahead and shoot this one out as an early plug for a good friend of mine, Kevin Brannon, the owner of IWA Deep South. IWA Deep South presents Carnage Cup 9 on November the 16th and November the 17th. It has been moved because of extenuating circumstances with the Alabama Athletic Commission.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah, I know. IWA Deep South is moving Carnage Cup 9 to Tullahoma, Tennessee. It's going to be at 106 Southside Drive in Tullahoma, and that address sounds really familiar, but I'll give you the list of the rundown. Spider Boudreaux, the Bulldozer Matt Tremont, the Angel of Death John Rare, the Suicidal Beast Bryant Woods, John Wayne Murdoch, formerly Damian Payne, Freak Show, J.D. Horror, Josh Crow, J Impact, Yukon Jack, Ganger, Christian Cross, Ron Mathis, American Kickboxer 2, Sid Fabulous, and Tank. The 16 competitors who are going to be involved in Carnage Cup 9, November 16 and November 17, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Tickets are available. Be sure to check out, I believe the website is iwalxw.com. Good friend of ours, actually Beyond Ringside family. Mark Mabo Bowman runs the website and their social networking, or helps with the website and runs their social networking. So keep your eyes open for them. Also at IWALXW over on Twitter. So they'll definitely keep you posted of everything going there.
And I'm just going to do a cheap plug again because, look, 2 CZW guys are there competing in that tournament. You have Ron Mathis and Matt Tremont, who will both be in action. Exactly.
I've had a chance to work with Matt Tremont before, and absolutely tremendous individual, and a lot of you are going to know a number of the names who are going to be on that show for IWA Deep South on the 16th and 17th of November, because they also work with LXW, the League of Extraordinary Wrestlers. They're on hiatus until after the first of the year, but also if you want to see a completely and totally different product, check out LXW. Go to iwalxw.com. Check it out sometime. You're going to see the DVDs are very much available, and also video on demand through SmartMark. I believe a lot are available through SmartMark Video. So, and I'm looking forward to after the first of the year when they pick this back up, because it's been an intriguing and interesting, and I'll give you the best word, fun project. I've really enjoyed myself working on this one. Couple of things. Let's run these down real quick. I don't know. Have you had a chance to get your list in front of you?
I'm walking in the house. The computer is on. I'm pulling it up now, even though I will say it's my more outdated list because my most updated one I emailed myself at work, so I would be able to send it today.
Now, you made a reference to C4. That would be Capital City Championship Combat, right?
Out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
I think so. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got the name right. Real quick, let's run it down. I made a reference to Preston City Wrestling. Let's keep it on Thursday. Hard Knock Wrestling in Cleveland, Ohio, 9505 Denison Avenue, 7 p.m. start time. Extreme World Wrestling, 3500 East Independence Boulevard in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tomorrow, 7:30 on Thursday, October 31st. And also Empire Pro Wrestling, Eastchester Gardens Community Center, 3016 Yates Avenue, Bronx, New York. Check out Facebook.com/Empire Pro Wrestling. Phil, any that pop right out into your brain?
Hard Knocks, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Hard Knocks, but the fact that they are running almost weekly, tells me that they have a following and they have at least a passion and a heart for what they're doing. So I would say pay special attention to Hard Knock Wrestling.
And I have to throw this one out there for Friday, November the 1st for to flashback for myself, Mark Mabo Bowman, Wicked Nemesis, and Mr. MCO Chase Pearson, that incarnation of Beyond Ringside. On Friday, November the 1st, Pro Wrestling Elite in Union City, Tennessee, 8 p.m. local time, bell time, 1700 West Reelfoot Avenue, also known as the Giant Flea Market. Chase, that one's for you, buddy.
But it's no 5-acre flea market.
It's not 5 acres. I don't know how big it is. It's the Giant Flea Market, but it's not the 5-acre flea market, so we got to work on the naming here.
Right.
Let's see. I'm also looking at Elite Pro Wrestling in Winona, Minnesota at the Black Horse Bar and Grill. They're going to be 7 p.m. Friday, November the 1st. East Coast Professional Wrestling. Try to say that 3 times fast. Binghamton, New York, 8 p.m. local time at the American Legion Post number 80, 76 Main Street. I've got some good friends who are working up at that show tomorrow, on Friday, November the 1st for ECPW. Always great to hear from them up there.
You're ready for it to be the weekend, aren't you?
Yes, the hell I am. And actually, I did not know, and this is something that I didn't know until I saw the list come in. AIW has a show this weekend on Friday night.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be
out in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Cleveland Turners SPV at 7325 Guthrie.
There you go. And we go from Absolute Intense to the Absolute Wrestling League up in Bel Air, Maryland.
And it is the AWL's first Maryland event.
Really?
They've run, I believe, in Pennsylvania, but this is their first time in Maryland.
And I forgot to bring up one also on Friday night. It's NWA SAW, Southern All-Star Wrestling, 1214B Louisville Highway in Millersville, Tennessee, 7 p.m. bell time. Now, that's a weekly event, isn't it?
It is a weekly event, and if you want to talk about a promotion that has a pretty solid following and some television time, I mean, that is one of them. And, I mean, talk about what you will about some of the turmoil that's going on in NWA. I think they have sort of put themselves separate and have really made themselves stand out.
Now, also, if you have not had a chance to check out the results from the NWA Houston show Invasion that occurred recently, NWA World Champion, the Iron Man Rob Conway, and the gentleman who was challenging, Addictive and Expensive, Byron Wilcott. From everything, I haven't seen the DVD yet. I'm waiting on it to come out. Chris, you owe me one on that one. Yes, I'm directly addressing Chris Juan Crollo, a good friend of ours here on the show. I heard that Conway and Wilcott absolutely tore it up. It was a no disqualification match, and these two guys just absolutely let it rip for the world title. And there's a part of me that says, from what I was told, that Conway is a little bit on the lucky side to still maintain his hold on the world championship, because Wilcott was that damn close to capturing it that night. It's amazing what happens with championships a lot of the time. Speaking of the National Wrestling Alliance, let's move into Saturday, November the 2nd. NWA Smoky Mountain at the Civic Auditorium in Kingsport, 8 p.m. Good friend of ours, Tony Givens, one of the people behind the scenes up with NWA Smoky Mountain. Looking forward to getting back with him in the very near future. Let's see, Ring of Honor going to be in Cincinnati at the Masonic Center. Now they just wrapped up a huge show last weekend, and they've got another one on the horizon, right?
Yes, they are building to their big event in December.
It's gonna be crazy. Now, are there any that are jumping out for you on Saturday that you'd like to make a reference to?
I mean, and that's just it. Saturday, there are so many events all over the place. Definitely check out Platinum Championship Wrestling down in Porterdale, Georgia. Of course, CZW again. Yeah, please, I'm gonna hit that up all day. Like,
do it, dude.
You know, CZW@payperview.com. WXW, and I'm going to call it the original WXW. And I know the original WXW was in Pennsylvania, but now they're in Florida. Austin's down there. WXW at the Mineola Recreation Center at 800 North Highway 27, Mineola, Florida. Check out WXWWrestling.com. I have never seen one of their events, but I hear their name, and I hear so many people talk highly of them. Strictly Insane, that's with an N, Pro Wrestling. They're out of Crossville, Illinois, at the old Crossville Gym. And you can check them out at facebook.com/strictlyinsane. Remember, that's with an N, strictlyinsane.pro-wrestling.
A company that we have followed here on BR for a long time that has a show this coming Saturday, November the 2nd, Ultimate Championship Wrestling in Cadiz, Kentucky. Try saying that 3 times fast. At the Trigg County Rec Center. It's going to be 7:30 p.m. bell time. Also in the Bluegrass State on Saturday, November the 2nd, Pro Wrestling Freedom at the Corbin Civic Center in Corbin, Kentucky. So Kentucky, there's also another event in Owensboro, Kentucky. Next Level Sports hosting Universal Championship Wrestling, 7 p.m. bell time. Good grief. You never know what's going to happen. Any state on any given day of the week could have that many shows, and I'm pretty sure there may be a couple more in Kentucky before we wrap up this calendar, right?
Probably. And that's the one thing. Kentucky, even though, a lot of people will bash state commissions, Kentucky does the best thing I've ever seen any commission do, and that's actually that they put all of the Kentucky events on a website.
Yes, they do.
Through their athletic commission. So you can see everything that's upcoming in the state of Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, on their website.
And that is something that definitely is appreciated by people who are trying to keep their eyes open on what's going on. Let's see, PWA Canada at the Alpine Club of Kitchener, 464 Maple Avenue, Kitchener, Ontario, 8 p.m. local time. Fayetteville, North Carolina, playing host to Ring Wars, Carolina at the John D. Fuller Rec Center, 6627 Old Bunce, Bunce Road. That can really get somebody in trouble if they're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
It really can. But now, for those who are listening, and for those who have promotions, whether it be domestic, whether it be here in the lower 48 or Canada, Mexico, and I use the term lower 48 loosely because, of course, we'd love to find out about events going on in Alaska as well as Hawaii, as well as internationally. Before I go any further, this invitation is extended to not only promoters, but to stars who are going to be appearing on the cards coming up, that if you don't know that they're going to get listed in this newsletter, take the opportunity and the initiative and let us know. Let Phil know. And I keep wanting to use both names. I'll go ahead and say Nate this time because the email address that everybody can send stuff to is
Nate_Stein at hotmail.com, or you can send me a Twitter message at psphenom. That's PSPHENOM.
Now, what I tell everybody to do, and please listen closely, folks. Number one, if you want to use the abbreviation or the acronym for your promotion, that's fine. But it always helps if you have got 1 extra second to type out the full name of your promotion. Now, there are some like C4 Championship, Capital City Championship Combat, which actually is in a different state from what I just understood. Double checked my old notes. But
sorry.
No, it's no big deal. But by the same token, if you've got your initials to where they are easy to remember, that's cool. But if they sound just like another company's letters, or if you know that another company is using those letters and you don't want to get mixed up, put the name of the promotion in the message that you're sending over. Because my home company, Global Championship Wrestling, our next show is going to be Saturday, November the 23rd in Pell City, Alabama. Well, at one point, there was our company, Global Championship Wrestling. There was another GCW that was trying to operate in Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City, Alabama, calling itself Great Championship Wrestling. And then in Central Georgia, guess what? There was a Georgia Championship Wrestling. So if folks want to just put out there that GCW is going to be in Columbus, Georgia. Well, if somebody's coming in from out of state and it's like, ooh, cool, GCW, I want to check them out, and they're thinking that it's a different GCW, they're going to be pissed. So please include the full proper name of the promotion when you send in the information, the city, the state, the venue, the address, and the time. It doesn't take any more than 2 minutes to type it out, even if you're doing the old hunt and peck method like we did before typing class in high school. or had an app for that or whatever. I don't know. I mean, are those the basics that you look for?
I mean, yeah, that's really it. I mean, that's the big thing is basic high school level journalism English class is who, what, when, where, why, and how. So what is it? Where is it? When is it happening? How can I find out more information?
And actually, I may have an event that's actually been, I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and, matter of fact, I'd heard that Rampage Pro was not going to be functioning right now in the month of November, so I'm not sure, but go ahead and leave that one up there just to be on the safe side in case I'm wrong.
Right. And I will say some of these things I put on, like I try to check every month if it was something that said, oh, I'm going to be a regular weekly event just in case something has changed. Because I do believe there might be, no, I think I got rid of the one in Ohio that is not running currently. But there are some others out there that might not be running that are on that list. But I mean, I am checking on a monthly basis or weekly basis for some of these places.
Cool. Brother, it's always a pleasure to have you on board. And like, just remember, as always, the door is definitely open. Keep us in the loop on everything that you've personally got going on, as well as the for Combat Zone, AIWF, a lot of the for the different promotions that you've got going on. Because if you're making an appearance with somebody who's out of the norm, and love to help you get the word out about it. It's always that easy, you know that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, real quick, get the plugs in there for the website one more time.
Make sure you check out czwrestling.com. You can click on the Amazon link at the bottom to help support Combat Zone Wrestling, or go directly to bit.ly/Combat Zone. You can also purchase it directly on iPay-per-view this Saturday at 7:30, czwippv.com.
And that would be 7:30 Eastern time, right?
Absolutely.
And how can everybody keep track of you?
You can follow me on Twitter at PSPhenom or on Facebook at PStamper.
Philip, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on board, brother.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest, and I will say, Beyond Ringside Extended Family. We'll talk about that a little bit later in weeks to come, or possibly even days to come. Phil Stamper has once again gone Beyond Ringside. Thank you for joining us for this very special Tuesday night conversation. Hang with us right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. And, of course, don't forget, you can find us on iTunes. Look up Beyond Ringside. And, of course, the home site for everything. You can find the links there, beyondringside.com. Till next time, this is Fast Eddie Layne. Bye for now.